And now a retelling of the movie The Girl in the Box. Subscribe to the channel, enjoy the movie. The movie is based on a true story. The movie starts with a guy named Cameron getting out of a car in the middle of nowhere. There is a girl sitting in the passenger seat. Her name is Jen Nice, and she looks upset. Cameron opens the trunk of the car and asks Jen Nice to help him. At first, Jen Nice refuses, but Cameron convinces her. They take the woman's body out of the trunk and drag it into the woods, then bury the body deep in the woods. As the sun rises, they finish the job and return to the car. Janice tells Cameron that she didn't expect anyone to die. Cameron tells her that he had to kill the girl because she started yelling. After that, they drive away. The next scene takes us back to May 19th, 1977. It's a sunny day in Northern California. A girl named Colleen is standing on the side of the road looking for a hitchhiker. After a while, a car stops in front of her. Sitting in the car are Cameron and Janice. They offer Colleen a ride. After a brief introduction, Colleen admits that she hitchhiked all the way from Oregon to attend her friend's birthday party. The car keeps going until they reach a gas station. Colleen goes to the gas station for a refill, and Cameron takes a box out of the trunk and puts it in the back seat. As they start driving again, Cameron tells Colleen that they are going to stop to visit the ice caves, but they need to pull off the road. Colleen is not determined to give her a ride. Cameron won't agree, and they drive into the woods. There, Jen Nice asks Colleen to get out and follow her to the caves. Meanwhile, Cameron sneaks up on Colleen and holds a knife to her throat. He threatens to use the knife if she resists, after which he puts a blindfold on Colleen. He also gags her mouth and handcuffs her, after which he shoves her head into a box in the back seat. They wait out the day on the side of the road, and when dusk falls, Cameron takes the girl into the basement. Before leaving, he puts Colleen's head back in the box. The next day, Cameron leaves home. In the evening, he returns home and goes into the basement. He feeds Colleen and lets her relieve herself in the potty and then whips her again. All the while, Jen Nice eavesdrops upstairs. That night, Jen Nice asks Cameron what they are going to do with Colleen. Cameron replies that he will let her go in a few days. But Jen Nice is paranoid and thinks Colleen will go to the police. So Cameron decides they will keep the girl in the basement. The next day, Cameron turns the wooden coffin into a prison for Colleen. While in the coffin alone, the girl reminisces about the day she left home. She recalls how her father offered to pay for the bus fare, but she wanted to hitchhike. A few days pass and Colleen's family finally realizes that she is missing. They file a police report, but nothing turns up. 6 months pass, and one day, Jen Nice shows up at Cameron's job at the lumber mill. She tells him that she is pregnant and that they need to free Colleen. Cameron isn't, and he uses Janice's paranoia to convince her otherwise. Cameron looks through magazines and finds an article about underground human trafficking. Cameron draws up a fake captivity contract and goes to Colleen's house. He makes up a story about working for a company that traffics people into slavery and shows her the article. He gets Colleen to sign the fake captivity contract. He then tells her that she will now ensnare them, and if she tries to escape, the company will go after her family. He also tells Colleen that Jen Nice was also his captive and tried to escape. The company ended up finding her and breaking Jenna's leg, but then Cameron rescued her and married her a short time later. The next day, he puts a shaynik around Colleen's neck and accustoms her to calling him master. He tells her that from now on her name is Kate. He slowly makes her a prisoner who does all their chores. Jen Nice finally has a baby, and it's a girl. 2 years have passed since the kidnapping and Colleen has gotten used to her situation. Cameron tells her fictional stories about what happened to captives who tried to escape. He tells how one captive tried to go to the police, but the cops worked for the company. The company cut off the captive's limbs and tongue. All of this makes Colleen more and more resigned to his situation. Jen Nice, on the other hand, is jealous of Colleen. She mistreats her and makes her husband beat her. She even claims that Colleen's only purpose is to endure pain. One day, Cameron takes Colleen out to collect wood. While working, he hurts himself and falls to the ground. Colleen considers running away for a moment, but she is scared. She ends up helping Cameron and even stitches him up. When they return that night, Jen Nice complains that Cameron wants Colleen more than her. Cameron suggests that they share Colleen in bed, and Jen Nice agrees. However, as soon as Cameron tries to proceed with Colleen, Jen Nice becomes enraged. She tries to run away from their house, but Cameron stops her. Nice warns Cameron that he can never touch Colleen again. So Colleen now spends most of her time in a box. She hardly ever gets out of the box, and 4 years have passed since her abduction. Colleen looks physically ill, and one day she sees her daughter Nice. The girl's name is Amber. Colleen is shocked at how much Amber has grown. She has clearly lost track of time. One day Cameron and his family leave. Cameron can't leave the cabin, they go to the lake. Colleen is left alone and begins to wonder why she is putting up with all of this. She begins to have visions in which a priest tells her that suffering is a test of God. She even sees her sister Bonnie. Eventually she has a dream that she is drowning and ends up opening a drawer door. Cameron returns and finds the crate door open. He fears that Colleen has run away, but she is just sitting in the shower. He learns that Colleen read in a book about prisoner commitment. He approaches Nice and tells her that they have to let Colleen out of the box. He also tells Nice that he will probably sleep with Colleen. He justifies his intentions by reading a passage from that book that allows masters to sleep with their captives. From this point on, Colleen begins to spend more time outside the house. She begins to become friends with Amber. Nice also comes around and starts treating Colleen well. Almost 6 years have passed since the kidnapping, and Colleen is now working as a maid for Cameron. Meanwhile, Nice has become very good friends with Colleen. She takes her to church and even lets Colleen play with Amber. Cameron has become more violent towards Nice and wants to get closer to Colleen, so he tells Colleen that she can visit her family. He claims that he convinced the company to let her come. Cameron then takes Colleen to her house. He warns her that if she says anything bad, the company will kill her family. He leaves her at the house. Colleen's family is thrilled to see her again. Bonnie tries to ask Colleen where she's been all this time, but the girl keeps quiet. She reveals that the guy who dropped her off is her boyfriend and his name is Mike. The next day, Cameron comes to pick up Colleen. Her parents ask about how their daughter is doing. Cameron makes up a story about how they are dating and assures them that he is going to marry Colleen. Eventually they leave and return home to California. Nice has become very religious by this time and feels guilty about her captivity. One day she overhears that her husband intends to marry Colleen. The next day she leaves the house to stay in the house. This makes Cameron very upset, so he punishes Colleen with a whip and puts her in his barn. He leaves her there and drives off in his car. Meanwhile, Nice returns and frees Colleen. She advises Colleen to go home, but she doesn't want to betray Cameron. Nice tells the girl that a few years ago, Cameron killed a girl. Her name was Marlitz, and they buried her in the woods. She also tells Colleen that there is no captive company and she can go home. Colleen agrees and takes a bus to America. The girl has spent 2,640 days in captivity, but she is finally free. On the other side, Cameron is caught by the police and sent to prison for 104 years. Nice becomes a witness against Cameron and gets a pardon from the authorities. The girl is put in a situation from which two conclusions must be drawn. The first is that one should not hitchhike. And the second, you need to immediately address your problem to the people close to you, to the police, or to a special service. You can't keep quiet. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, because it's very important. And also put likes and leave comments.